គេសួស្តីអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាណាយើងបានជួបគ្នាក៏ដូចជាបានបញ្ចប់នៅ3រឿងរួចជាស្រេចហើយណាឥឡូវនេះយើងចូលទៅក្នុងរឿងទី4របស់យើងម្ដងណា The Fires Part 1 ណាអញ្ចឹងតោះយើងអាចថាបន្តរឿងរបស់យើងណារឿងទី4របស់យើងតចូលទៅក្នុងរឿងទី4របស់យើងទាំងអស់គ្នាណា and now listen to my reading and I hope you will go on reading the stories. Fire Part 1. The day was cold and grey, extremely cold and grey, when the men turned off the Manjukun trail and climbed up a path that went up a high hill. At the top he paused to look at his watch. It was 9 o'clock. He had been up for 2 hours. There was no sun in the sky, although there was not a cloud anywhere. It had been days since he had seen the sun, but that did not worry the man. Although he was a newcomer to the land, he knew about the Yukon and how it was there. The man looked back along the path he had come. The trail was hidden under several feet of ice and snow. Everything was pure white for as far as he could see. The man continued to walk. It was colder than 50 below, but the temperature did not matter to him. He was heading for the camp beyond Henderson Creek. The other men were already there. He had gone by himself to check out some lumberland he wanted to buy. He calculated that he would get to the camp around 6 o'clock. There would be a fire going, and the men would have supper ready for him. He thought of food, and he pressed his hand against the bundle under his jacket. He had some bread wrapped in a handkerchief under his shirt. That was the only way to keep the bread from freezing. At the man's heels trotted a dark grey dog, a husky. It was unhappy about the terrible cold. The dog did not know that it was actually 75 degrees below zero, but it knew that it was no time for traveling. The dog expected the man go into a camp or to seek shelter and build a fire. The dog had learned about fire, and it wanted fire. The man walked for several miles until he came to a small frozen stream. He began to walk along the top of the frozen stream. The dog followed, his tail drooping. The man was very careful where he placed his feet. The stream was frozen, but he knew that there were springs that bubbled under the snow. These springs never froze, no matter how cool it got. They were traps that had pools of water under the snow. The water might be 3 inches deep or 3 feet deep. The man knew that if his feet got wet, they would quickly freeze. He would have to stop and build a fire. He would have to take off his boots and socks and dry off near the flames. So the man walked carefully, and he should study the top of the stream as he looked for the hidden traps. Once he had a close call. He felt the ice breaking under his feet. He heard a loud snapping sound, and he jumped away just in time. Another time he suspected danger. To test the ice, he pushed the dog forward. Suddenly, there was a loud crack, and the dog nearly fell through the ice. The dog jumped to one side and landed safely. But one foot has gotten wet, and ice immediately began to form on the animal's paw. The dog licked off the ice. Then the dog dropped down in the snow and quickly bite off the ice from between its toes. The man decided it was time to have something to eat. He put his hand under his jacket and shirt and pulled out the bread. Then he sat down on a snow-covered log. He pulled the bread up to his face, but he could not eat. Ice had formed around his beard and covered his face. The man smiled at his foolishness. He had forgotten to build a fire to thaw himself out. Just then, he noticed a sharp stinging in his toes. He tried to move his toes, but they refused to move. He stood up and stamped up and down until a warm feeling returned to his face. That old-timer from Sulphur Creek had told the truth when he said how cold it got in the Yukon. The man hadn't believed the old-timer then. He had laughed at him. The old-timer had said there was a rule about traveling in the Yukon. He said you must never travel alone in the Yukon when it was 50 below. While he was traveling alone, he would be okay, but he must build a fire now. Okay, thank you for your listening and watching my video clips of my reading this part 1 of the fire. Okay, thank you so much, and don't forget to do my quiz after you finish this watching. Thank you so much.